guess what? I figured out how to make the phone shoot in landscape. It seems that YouTube decided to change how you shoot video. They default to the phone being up like this. So every time you go to shoot a video, you have to go in the settings, in the YouTube settings where you go live at, and switch it to this position, the live position, or the landscape position. So let's go. I'm going to show you guys. I made a boo-boo on the guitar strap, and it was a dumb boo-boo. It was, good morning, Lisa. I have like this thumb. I don't know if you can see that, but it's called trigger finger, and it doesn't smooth. It isn't smooth. It pops like a ratchet. It even makes a noise like pop, 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 pop. Hurts like the dickens. But I was putting the I believe. Let me see if I can switch it. Good morning, Mark. I'm going to switch it over here to the other side if I can. What did it do? I thought it was that. Oh, that is it. Okay. What am I doing? Jeez. Like, am I a rookie or what? I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie, you guys. Good morning, Winter. So, let's see if we can show this little boo-boo I made. And I want to tighten it down so it doesn't move. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, so I wanted to put a wording on there. I told you guys about it, right? I was going to put some words on it, and, you know, I got my cool things on there, and then I put I believe, and then look, the E, right as I was hitting that, it slipped in my weird trigger finger thumb, and actually was doing it all the way down. And then I realized the L and the I really hit hard, even with the same amount of pressure. But the E crooked on me. So Louie, I'm gonna make you a different one. I don't know what to do with this one. It kind of sucks, you know. Maybe I should have made them all wonky, you know. But I think the I believe is a good idea for this. But yeah, so that disheartened me quite a bit, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't like that at all. And I did not like that. Anyways, that's where we're at, and let me switch it back. Okay, let me see. Sorry about the sky shot. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna sit down this time. Chair. Let me see if I can sit down and still be in the. No, I can't be in the shot like that. So, okay. Well, that's a little much. Sorry about that, you guys. I didn't mean to give you a ride. Maybe I should lower this. Yeah, you could tell I really thought this out, right? I really was thinking about it. Okay. I don't know if I like this shot or not. What do you guys think? And you can see more of the stuff behind me. Maybe that. I think I like it more because it fills the screen when you're shooting a video. It fills it up better. You know what I mean? Like when the profile or whatever they call it, where it's up and down, you have a lot of black screen on the side. And this way it's kind of bigger. It fills up the whole screen. And I guess if everybody's watching it on their cell phone, it probably is better the other way. Good morning, Winter. Hey, Alan. How's it going, man? Good name, by the way, if I haven't told you that. Hey, bad boy. So, just because I figured out how to change the angle of the camera, I decided to go live. I was already messing with it. Thought I'm gonna go live, you know. I took the grandkid to school. He forgot his violin, so I had to go back and do that, take his violin to him. But I alerted everybody I would be going live. So one of the things, something I was thinking about, yeah, see, I'm old school too. I think that's what it is. We get in our little habits. You want to hear something really weird? I guess not weird, but when I was dropping off his instrument, and I drop him off every morning, pick him up in the afternoon, and this school, I realized this morning as I was walking into the office to take his musical instrument, 60 years ago, 60, you hear what I said? Hey, get out. Darn cat. It scared the crap out of me the other day. I started that van up and that cat went nuts. But 60 years ago, around this month, 60 years ago, I started kindergarten at that school that I dropped my grandson off every morning. I didn't even realize that. I did not realize. I never really thought about it till this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, 60 years ago, I started kindergarten there. And then you want to hear another weird one? I mean, this is weird. Yesterday was the numbers thing again. Like when I was chatting with y'all, the number was 11. The time was 11:11 with 11 viewers and 11 likes. So it was 11, 11, 11, all these ones. Later on in the day, the next time I looked at the clock, it was 4:11. And I got really busy the rest of the day. And the next time I looked at the clock, it was 9:11. And so I'm seeing these numbers like multiple times a day. I don't know what 4:11 or 9:11 means. It just seemed odd, that I was seeing that. Get out there, silly cat. I don't know what it's looking for. That's twice. So there was another thing I was thinking about when I hopped in the shower this morning. I was thinking about when I was a kid growing up. I used to wander around in the mountains and stuff. 11 years. Oh man. 11, 11, 11, 11, man. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's weird, isn't it? Well, when I was a kid, growing up, I wandered around in the mountains all by myself. And we would go camping, and I intentionally would ditch everyone, all the kids, other kids, and play little. They had no idea, but I was sneaking around and following them and looking at them. And that's why I always thought when things were happening to me, I thought it was them doing the same thing to me that I used to do to them. But I wouldn't let them know that I was following them. And I don't think they ever knew that I was. But then it occurred to me this morning, after I seen the Bigfoot, I changed, and I changed how I carry myself in the woods, and I won't go by myself anymore. And ever since, I won't go but alone. And I thought, like I never thought about it with my kids. It was just something you do, like I knew they were there, so I never let my kids go anywhere out of camp alone. And I also didn't want just kids taken off into the woods when they were little. So, I mean, I was really little. I got lost when I was 5 years old. That was the first and last time I ever got lost. That scared me so bad. And I was, I was only like 50 yards from the camp, but I was lost and it scared me. I screamed bloody murder until they came and found me. And then they all laughed like crazy because all they had to do was walk to the edge. I was on a dirt road. All I had to do was turn around and go back, right? Follow the road back. I wasn't really lost, but I was lost. But I would never now I'm thinking, I have all these grandkids and great grandkids, and I want to take them camping, let them experience the woods like I did. But how do you do that? Hey, Carrier, how's it going, man? How do you let your kids experience, or your grandkids or great grandkids, how do you let them experience the freedom and the woods how you did? How? I mean, now these creatures are running around and you don't know what they're going to do, even though they never harmed me ever, and that's a little bit comforting, a little bit. Young here in the Rockies, yeah. Oh, what happened to it? Where'd it go? Let's see. Oh, there it is. At age 12, it took many years before I had one again. It is a different world. Man, 12 years old? That would have ruined me. That would have wrecked me, man. I don't know what I would. That's the age I started hunting. That we were allowed to start hunting at 12. I mean, I didn't get to hunt alone. I hunted with my parents, but my dad and his best friend and his son that was the same age as me. We grew up together in the playpen out in the woods. I mean, me and that kid, we did everything together, but that would have wrecked me. I don't know. I'm kind of glad I saw it when I was 27, really. I have no idea what I would do. But I wonder, like how do you let your kids or your grandkids, the kids are going to I feel like I'm looking down on, you guys are looking down on me. I'm going to make it a little more, where I'm level with it. Okay, that looks good. So I was really that probably next year I would like to take some kids out camping. Now that I'm healthy, I mean, like I can walk around and I can hike a little bit. I'll probably a little more next year than I can right now because I'm working on myself. But I want them to experience the woods and stuff, and I actually it would make my heart soar like a hawk if they could experience it like I experienced it. Going out and just able to wander and see everything and feel the woods and all that. And how do you do that now? Yeah, that's not cool that they made fun of you. My dad and his best friend, they would make fun of me too. Hey, Cryptid, how are you? And I think they knew if they spent time in the woods. I think they knew, but only it wasn't like cool to admit stuff like that. And I think our parents were scared. And when I saw the first time, I was with my dad's best friend. And glad to see you, man. Hey, thanks for sharing that UFO video. That was awesome. I shared it around with some of my friends. That was an awesome video, man. Hawaii, huh? Lots of UFOs right there. That's another topic I want to talk about before I sign off here. I got a lot to do today. But when I saw the Bigfoot the very first time, I was with my dad's best friend that I grew up with, and I grew up with his son in the playpen, and all our life we were together. It was almost like we were brothers, and I feel like their family is like that, brothers and sisters, because we were raised up camping every weekend, spending our vacations there. And then we got to live in Yosemite for a while. That was pretty cool, you know. But when we saw this thing, I was with him, and the reason I was with him is my dad passed away the year before, and he wasn't able to go hunting with them, and that they did everything together. And I decided I was going to go hunting with him. And I mean, he taught me a lot about tracking and identifying the tracks and how to track when you lose the track line, how to pick up the track of other things, you know. And so he was like my dad, kind of. I don't know how to explain that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good, Winter. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great. So when we were sitting there, we actually talked about Bigfoot, but he acted like he had never seen one. And then he's the one that decided, yeah, I know what you mean. I think it was them though, Mark. It was them afraid and make fun of you so they didn't show their fear, or and then they don't want to admit stuff like that, and maybe they didn't know, but inside of them they kind of knew, you know. I think they do. And this is why in my story, so this guy, his name is Big Mike, and 2 years after we saw Bigfoot, he was a high up county worker, and over, I don't know, 20 buildings or something like that, the maintenance of 20 buildings. And a semi truck ran a stop sign on a highway, and he was going down the highway, I don't know, 60 miles an hour or something like that. And this truck, a semi truck, ran a stop sign and ran up on him and crushed him. So it hit the car and then went up on top of the car and crushed him underneath. So he passed away 2 years after my dad passed away, and that was terrible news when we got that, you know. Yeah, peer pressure is evil, and it's kind of cool that the truth is coming out now, and it's getting, and maybe this guy, Steve Isdall or whatever, is having something to do with that, and it isn't because other people haven't tried. I've tried, that's why I do this. Yeah, I heard you're in Washington. That's so cool. I I never made fun of anyone. People have made fun of me. I've always tried to encourage everyone to share with me, and so that I could share with everyone that this isn't one-off stuff like you or just a few people. It is very, very a lot of people, and I've always been like wanted to do that. What he's doing, kind of a little bit jealous that everybody trusts him somehow more than me. I don't know, or he got out there. I don't know how it works. I'm just glad he really is doing it because he's helping. Just like, but he makes fun of finding Bigfoot, and I understand. I do about that, and I understand. I work behind the camera and stuff like that. I hope he doesn't think I'm like a bad person because I wanted to bring the news of Bigfoot to the world. And as far as I'm concerned, finding Bigfoot had a big part in making this mainstream now. And maybe that helped him. Maybe the people that are involved in that aren't very good. And I know this probably is true. But we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You never know, man. You never know. Weird stuff is afoot. But getting back to it, so the guy's name is Big Mike. That's what we called him. And then his son was Little Mike, and that's the one I You know, he was like my brother. He was my brother. He passed away a few years ago as well from heart problems. Kind of sad. So everybody's gone. My dad, Big Mike, Little Mike. You know, it's kind of sad. But I know where they are, so I'm not sad, and I know I will see them again. I'm not worried. I'm not even concerned about that kind of stuff. I just miss their presence, you know, and being able to talk to them. But as far as like thinking they're gone forever, no, that's not the case. But Big Mike, he was calling the shots on that hunt. We were 9 days in. He decides we were. This guy taught me so well of hunting deer that the morning before, all right, all right, bro, you take care. We'll have to go out sometime soon, man. We've been getting dogman encounters and more Bigfoot stuff here recently. A lot of people talking about the white one again, the white one. But so he was calling, and the day before that we saw Bigfoot, we had been, some hunters, like we talked to some hunters a couple days before that, and they were telling us, and we knew where they were camped, and we seen them. They were mostly road hunting, and they didn't really get out. Yeah, Dogman's not a good guy. He's not. I I agree, and everybody should be aware of those. They're evil, eat you stuff. Okay. But we seen these other hunters, and we were talking to them one morning, and they were wearing white camo, but it wasn't snowy, so they stuck out like a sore thumb, which was good actually. But we talked to them, and they said they had seen 39 deer. 39. We had been all over the area as well, but we have only seen 7. I think they were counting the same 7. Okay. I'm almost positive that's what they were doing. And then one morning, because we had been there 9 days, and we knew where these were, and there was no bucks. Okay, none. There was some bucks, but like a spike, illegal ones. You couldn't shoot. Little young ones, and not even a forked horn or nothing, you know, or forked horn, however you want to say it. But I mean, we followed these deer around, and we would set up knowing their patterns when they go to water, when they go back to lay down in the afternoon and stuff. So we would sit and watch them, hoping that buck would be following them, or the bucks direct the does. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but they do. So we're we that morning before we saw Bigfoot, we actually just, Big Mike tells me, "Hey, let's sneak up on these does," and there were 6 of them together, and see if we could. Um, how close can we get before they spook? It was like, cool. This sounds like fun. You know, a real challenge, especially if you're gonna bow hunt. Like, how close can you get to the deer? So we set ourselves up where the wind was in our face, the deer were in front of us, upwind, so their scent is blowing to us, but it was, the wind wasn't strong, so every once in a while it would whip around, you know, and they would get a little bit of a scent to us, but it would go back in the direction in our face again. We got so close, I could have slapped that deer in the head. It was right there. And the way we were doing was, you take one step and you freeze, because when they look at you, if there's things behind you like that bush, oh man, I hope that doesn't hurt, Daytona. I love your videos too, man, and I hope everything goes well at the dentist. So we sneak up, and long as there's things behind you to break up your pattern, they can't see you. Okay, the deer can't see you. They absolutely can't. As long as you're still and you don't move, they can't see you. But if you move, they can see you. They'll see you. So we were sneaking up, side by side. we take a couple of steps, one step, two steps, maybe three steps, very quietly, and you're picking out where you're going to step so you don't step on hearing anything to make any sound. Luckily, it had rained for 3 days prior to this, so everything was wet and quiet. And we actually walked up on these deer. A couple of times, though, the wind did what I was telling you. It swirled around, and they caught a little bit of our scent, and they would be looking right at us. And I thought for sure we were busted a couple times. But they would just stare, and you just stand there without moving, and then they would go back to what they were doing. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's so fun. I mean, I learned that when I was really young, and it's fun to do that. I mean, really fun. I even do it still, but I don't hunt. I mean, I think it's fun. It's challenge. How close can you get? You know? But so we got all the way close, and I'm standing there and looking at him, and I'm incredibly right, like I could reach out and go to this deer. And Big Mike goes, boom, like that. Oh, man, they fell all over the place. Hey, Adolf, how are you, man? I mean, one of them even fell down and was spinning around trying to get back up, and they just bolted everywhere, and deer don't run all the way. Yeah, they can't see colors. They can't. You're right. It's black and white. So they can't, they're like, deer don't run and go like a mile, right? They don't. They only go where they can't see you, and then they stop. Okay, winner, have a good one. I love you. And so that they don't go real far, they just go out of sight, and then they stop. So you could actually sneak up on them all over again if you want to. But only that was so funny. I mean, I jumped as well as the deer, falling all over the place, all over their self. So I thought it was hilarious, man, seeing this deer, doing the Three Stooges thing, on the ground, going in circles on the ground, and jumping up, and still never saw us, right? A couple of them bounced a couple of feet, 2-3 bounds, and then turned back and looked, and they still couldn't see us because we weren't moving, so they had no idea what happened, right? He just scared the shit right out of these deer. And it was funny. So then, we laughed and laughed and laughed. I think all day long we were laughing about that. And every time I thought about it, I would just bust out laughing again. It was so funny, man. That was so funny. So Big Mike decides, since we haven't seen one buck, there must be higher up at these high mountain lakes that are, you have to go over a ridge, down the other side, and there's these really pristine lakes you can't drive to, you can only hike to. It's probably like a 3-mile hike. And he says, we'll go early in the morning, get up like 4 o'clock in the morning and get there before the sun comes up when it's still dark. And as soon as it's light enough to see without a flashlight, we'll take off and head over the hill, find a good place to sit down, and then sit down. If nothing happens, then we'll track around and see if any bucks are in the area. But we're just going to go in and sit down where we can see a lot of real estate. Well, that's while we were sitting there and it was dark, that's when Bigfoot came on the scene, and I thought it was a man at first. Somebody dressed in black, like, who does that? No hat, no gun, no light. Like, where did he come from? What's going on? But after the encounter, we're sitting in the truck. We never made it over the top of the hill because I wouldn't go. That is where it was coming down from, that ridge that we had to go over. It ran back up over that ridge, and I wasn't going there. I was not. And he kept telling me, it's okay, we could do it. I'm like, no way. Like, what in the world? What? He goes, look, it is so fun, Mark. That's one of the most thrilling things for me to do in the woods is stock up on things. Even though I'm thinking about taking up deer hunting again, just because of how expensive groceries are. I mean, no, it's expensive to go get your own, but you could fill up a freezer and last you a while and get your own deer, you know. Magic underwear. That's funny. That's funny. The Mormons have magic underwear. I don't know why, but they say they do. That is so funny. Yeah, so we're sitting there and he tells me, no, really, I've and I know that he would like on a lot of times Big Mike would go by himself and do 2 weeks. Like when we all couldn't hunt with him, we would do 2 weeks with him. He would do 2 weeks. He would he told me that he's seen him 4 times. 4 times over the years. Never told me. Never told any of us. And then he told me, if you tell anybody that we saw this, I'm going to deny it to your face and make fun of you. I was like, what? Why would you do that? I don't care. I'm going to tell everybody. This needs to be known. You know, from that point on, I was going to tell everybody. I don't care if they laugh. I don't care. And I won't tell him he saw him. And after he passed, I don't think it matters. But I didn't say that I would say I was with a friend. That's all. I would never say who. But he said he's seen him. And he told me each encounter and told me they're not going to hurt you. If you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. And told me one time where him and his son were together, Little Mike and Big Mike, and it was lunchtime, and he went in his camper, cab over camper, left the door kicked open, and Little Mike was out. You know, he's probably like 14, 13, something like that. And he was zigzagging up the hill through a bunch of brush, probably right where in the area we were at, and was hoping, and Big Mike was sitting in there ready in case Little Mike kicked up a buck and didn't see it, and Big Mike, if he had a clear shot, he was going to shoot it. And he was hoping his son would kick up something, but not see that he kicked up anything, and he would get a buck. But he said what really happened was as his son was zigzagging through the brush going up this ridge, a Bigfoot starts over here, ducking down on a bush, watching his son, never looking at Big Mike, and walking slowly between him and his son and crossed that open door all the way across. And he said he never went after his son. He wasn't threatening. He wasn't even concerned. He said a couple of years before that, he was sitting in his camper around lunchtime, reading a book like he always did. And you know how high a cab over camper is, right? It's up there. These windows are up there. And he was sitting at his table, and somebody walked by and waved to him. So he closed his book, and he went outside to talk to the person, but there was nobody there. And then while he was standing there looking for the guy, he realized the window, how tall it was. And he was, almost a foot lower than the window at his height, almost 6 feet. And so he told me the Bigfoots won't hurt you. I don't know that to be, after now many years of interviewing people and talking to people, I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a big unknown here that I would not go in the woods and let my kids wander off like I did. And they won't get to enjoy or feel the woods like I did. That I never did again after I had my sighting. I mean, that's something that really I was thinking about a lot this morning as I was with my grandson, driving him to school and things. And this is the things I'm thinking about, right? And I started thinking about it in the shower, and then I continued to think about it, and that's when I decided I'm going to go live and we're going to talk about this, because how do you let them experience the woods now like you were able to, but you're not able to now, okay? Ever since the encounter, no effing way, right? There's no effing way Literally. And there ain't no way. And I'm not going to let him either. And I feel bad about that. But at the same time, I'm secure with that. Weird, right? Weird. My coffee got cold. Okay, so there was one more thing, and I'm glad Cryptic came on and talk about UFOs. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like some people where I don't share people's links. I don't give a flying hoot if I'm sharing people or not, or promoting them or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. And I don't care if they promote me or not, same thing. If it's interesting, what does Steve Isdall say? Take what you will and then leave it. Okay? I think it's that way with everything. Take what you will and then leave it. So, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not bagging on the dude. I like that. I like the guy. I was actually following him before he started talking about Bigfoot because I like hunting. So I was following him way before that, and I think the guy's a stand-up guy. I just don't like some of his attitudes about people. And basically, I don't even care about that. I just hope he doesn't have that attitude with me, that I'm some kind of fame seeker or whatever, If anybody knows me, they know I'm not like that. And that's all I got to say about that. Okay, so on Michael Salla. You guys heard of that guy, Michael Salla? He has a guy that he interviews that's in the military named JD. And this guy, I think all of it does, man. All of it. There's more bases than Dulce, believe me, and they're probably as bad as Dulce. I mean, I've been reading about Dulce since the internet came on in 2000, even maybe 1990s. I was the head of the computer department, so I could sit in the little room that housed all the servers and stuff, and I could go online, like dial up, and it was slower than crap, but I was connected, and I had the best computers on earth at the time because the casino could afford it, and I could, actually I could afford a good computer, but I didn't see the need when I could go to work and nobody could see me. I'm in my own little office with my own stuff, Exactly right. We don't want our children to go missing. Even though I never did, I'm worried about that. Okay, so back to Michael Salla. He has this guy named JD. This guy I don't know what to think about this. About if it's true or not true. I tend to think it's probably true. Just from what I've read for years on the internet, and a lot of the stuff I read is gone. It ain't on the internet no more. The internet has been sanitized of anything. I have read about those guys actually way back, also Montauk and all that. Well, anyways, JD is a military guy, and he goes on these missions with other military guys, and he says that he's getting permission, the AOK, to share things that normally can't be shared. And there is these ships under the ocean, and one of them under the ground, but the governments of the world have found them. Okay, and they're huge. Like they look like donuts, and they are absolutely huge. And they even go underground with the aliens under the ground. Okay, and he talks all about that. He's talking about right now that there's some giant alien things that are waking up. They're coming out of stasis. They are, and these ships, these big donut ships, are activating. And this last one, so now, like, where am I going with this, right? Where am I going with this? The Bible talks about giants in the land back in Noah's day. These giants are the offspring of fallen angels seeing human women and having an affair, I guess. Okay? So I think the Bible talks about in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the end, right? When the Lord Jesus is coming back. There's also a guy, and I want you guys to check this out, right? And see what you think. So look for Michael Salla, Exopolitics or something like that, okay? I can't remember the name of the YouTube. And then there's another guy, God Rules. I think his name is Tony, but the videos are called God Rules. And he has uncovered information from old texts that go way back. I mean, like way back, flood days type stuff that talk about the timing of the return, the return of Jesus, the end of when God comes and sets up his kingdom on earth. Okay, so you hear a lot of talk about we're at the end times and the rapture's about to happen and stuff like that. Well, Tony uncovered some stuff, and God gave him a dream and revealed some stuff to him, and that he was able to research back, and he found information that checks out. That, okay, Jesus came on the scene, lived 30 years or 33 years, whatever it was, and then he was put on the cross, and then 3 days later he was raised, and then he said he would come back. Okay, he would come back. He would set up his kingdom for 1,000 years, and then after that, Satan would be let out on the earth for a season, and then when he would come back one last time, and that would be the end, right? And when that happened, they would be setting up a one world government. Satan would be setting up an idol that would come to life, and everybody would worship it. Okay? What if that's AI? What if that is AI? I'm just saying. Okay, now this guy, God Rules, it's God Rules, and then God Rules 2 is the YouTube channels. It's very interesting. And then, like what they say, take from it what you will or leave it, okay? That's what I'm saying. Take whatever you will and then leave it. But there's always tidbits in everything that you find. So take from it what you will or leave it. But according to Tony, from his dream, and then that sent him on a path of research from what he saw in his dream that God revealed to him, Jesus already came back for the 1,000 years and set up his kingdom. And they would call it the Khazarians or something like that. Look that up. There's buildings in the world today that we couldn't even think about building right now, all over. And this kingdom was all over the place, and they say it was Mongols or something like that. I'm not so sure. There was a building in Chicago. They did the World's Fair in Chicago way back, and there was a building that they said they built for the World Fair that seated over 300 300,000 people. 300,000. The biggest arena, we don't even have arenas that could do that today. Okay? And it was enclosed. Okay? Enclosed, not an open thing. And it has pictures of it on the web that you can look at. And then they said they tore it down. It was only for the fair. They tore it down? Really? Why? Why did they tear it down? Why did they tear it down? Okay, but anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. Way off topic of what, I mean, not off topic, but going down another rabbit trail I don't want to go down. I want to stay over on this idea that Jesus already returned. So that would be the rapture, okay? And then he would set up his 1,000-year kingdom. That would be, for us, what we would know as the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages, meaning we don't have a lot of information about that time, right? And this is when these big buildings and all these really trippy buildings that we wouldn't even think about being able to build today. Like the one in Chicago, they said they built it in 2 years, and other buildings wherever they would have these world fairs. There was other buildings like that, unbelievable, amazing buildings, and then they would destroy them after the World Fair. And they said they built it for the World Fair. Like, it just seems questionable to me, okay? And even, I'm not saying that Jesus returned and there was a 1,000-year kingdom. I'm saying, what if there was? What if there was? Because if you're looking at Revelation, good morning, Renee. Well, what AI wants to destroy humanity. What do you think that the devil wants to do? That's what he wants to do. He wants to destroy humanity. He wants to kill us. He doesn't want us to find out anything about where we come from and who we're related to, right? Our actual true soul bloodline, okay? Our creative bloodline, like our DNA line, I should say, like. But say Jesus came back, set up his kingdom for 1,000 years, which would be around 500 AD, and then ending around 1500 AD. And then Satan comes back on the scene for a season. And we're living in that season right now. And if you look at Revelation and you use that as a roadmap of, it talks about things that's going on and what you're going to see, so that you don't know the day or hour or anything, but you can know the season. And I've known ever since like the 70s, ever since I got saved. I got saved in 1986, and that's a whole nother story I'll have to talk about one day. And you guys will, it's unbelievable. Yeah. But I got saved in 86. Right after that I went to Africa. But anyways, ever since I started really looking into the Bible from that time, and I probably read it, the whole Bible, probably half a dozen times. You know, a couple times straight through, like, but then the rest of the times, just being from, and actually the last 5 or 6 years, I hardly pick it up. It's all because I'm so familiar from reading it and being in it so often. I don't know, I can't tell you a scripture number or chapter, but I can relate the story to you that it talks about. It doesn't matter where in the Bible. I'm so familiar now. And I'm starting to lose it now a little bit because I'm old, and I was actually thinking about this last night, and I probably should get back into the Bible. But what if we are coming to the end, where God is coming to take out the devil and evil for good this time? For good. Like forever and ever and ever and set his kingdom up on the earth. And we're this close to it. I mean, it's just a thought. I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying, if you are familiar with Rev, I'm just going to call it that because I get hit by YouTube when I talk about these things. If I say the name Jesus, I said it, so I'm going to get hit. But if you say that name, why? Why do I get hits on my account for saying that name? I could say Buddha, I could say Allah, I could say anything except for some other things that they're doing to us right now, right? We're talking about the agendas that they're doing. Anything that is the truth, it seems, you can't say on YouTube. You absolutely can't. And that's one of the things, what I'm talking about right now, if I start saying certain names like that, that's why I'm going to Rumble. In fact, I'm letting everybody know I'm probably going to be doing some stuff on Rumble because I want to talk a little more deeper about things than what I can right here. Even though I'm fine, I know my limits and stuff, and I push the boundary all the time because I don't believe that there should be a boundary. But there is, and that's the way it is. And I'm forced to go over there and do that. So whatever it is, I'll do it because I want to talk about those things and go deeper, especially about what we're talking about right now. These fallen ones, or these Nephilim, are waking up, and these ships are activating. Okay, and go check out those videos. The name I said earlier, I'm not going to say it again. I mean, if you're looking at this later, I know there's only like 9 or 10 people watching, something like that. So if you're looking at this later, go back and look up those websites I told you, these YouTube channels, and check this out for yourself. And then we'll go on Rumble real soon, and we'll really open this can of worms. Thank you, sir. Oh, well, I don't know about sir, but thank you. Love you guys so much. I mean, I care about what happens in this world to everyone. It doesn't look good, but I can encourage everyone from my research and what I'm seeing. I mean, it's gonna get worse, okay? It's gonna get worse, but I can guarantee you that we're coming to the end of with this worst part, okay? And I have a feeling, it's just me, just from my own research, nobody else is saying it, I don't think. Maybe Tony over there. Yeah, thank you, Renee. You guys, I love you guys. You guys are so great. But it's just me. But I feel like that we're coming to. Yes, we do, Adolf. I'm gonna be traveling to Idaho in the last week of October. So I'll be doing a live over in Idaho. I'm gonna go help a friend set up his channel. Hey, Bolt Gun Man, how are you? I would love to go hunting with Bolt Gun. Thank you, Rachel. I'm back, though. You guys can count on that. I'm back, and I'm kind of showing you, this is what I've been wanting to do, and I never could. That's right, Mark. The First Amendment, and we should never, ever roll over and let them stomp all over our rights that we've had. And that's why we fought But only I do want to go. Before I go, I'll charge up the drone and we'll go. Like maybe this weekend. I'll let you know. Cool. Hi, Bobby. Happy birthday, Bobby. Right on, man. Getting old like me, huh? Yeah. Another year older. But yeah, um, we may be seeing the very, very end. Not the one where the rapture is. I sure will. I'll let you know for sure. I can't. I have been so locked up. I mean, I'm getting freedom. You guys are seeing me like open up because I've been so nailed down. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything, and I absolutely couldn't sit here this long. Like I think I'm getting close to an hour. I'm not sure. I couldn't sit here an hour and sit here and do this. I would be lucky if I could do 10 minutes, and I'm actually feeling it right now, believe it or not. And I'm not totally 100%, but I'm good enough. I'm good to go for an hour or two sometimes. And today I got to keep it an hour. I got to Chuck. I wasn't able to get that belt sent off. If you catch this video, it's going to be sent off today for sure, buddy. So just think and just know and pray that the end is near for evil. Not the end is near for us. End is near for evil. End is near for the ones trying to stomp all over our rights. And I don't mean just in this country, all over the freaking earth. Everyone is under this tight, evil agenda, and they have touched every life on earth, not just humans. I mean, everything on earth has had these tendrils of evil reach them, and I think we're at the end. So I'm going to be starting up my prayer channel as well to pray for this and just to get everybody. What God showed me for that is we will do focused prayer. So as a whole group of people focused live praying for things that people feel in that are heavy on them. It could be for somebody, it could be for things that that we're seeing in our life. It could be political, it could be anything, but it'll be focused like a laser focus with everyone praying live against it or for whatever. And that is about to happen. I've been praying about it for, I don't know, almost a year since God told me to make that channel and then wouldn't let me turn it on. But I had no idea I was ready to go. I was chomping at the bit, and I thought it was going to happen. But it's like everything with God. It's not in our timing. It's in His timing. And when you get ahead of Him, it's like hitting a brick wall. He opens the doors that no man can open, and He closes the doors that no man can close. And if He didn't open the door yet, you're just ramming yourself into that door, and the more you take it on yourself to do it thinking you're doing things for Him, the more you're just going to get a bump on your head. And again, and again, and again. And I learned, I was that guy. Okay, I am that guy that will get ahead of Him because I got a little inkling of what He wants me to do, and then I get excited about it, and then I'm just, I'm that four-wheel drive in a big mud hole. Everything's full bore, mud slinging everywhere. You can't even see me, but going nowhere, right? Absolutely going nowhere. Just wasting fuel and tires and, the whole thing, wearing everything out. And if I would have just let God, we would have went somewhere with that four-wheel drive and somewhere I never could get on my own. And I've learned over the years, don't get ahead of Him. be patient and wait on God, and he'll let you know, and the green light will happen. So finally the green light happened. I didn't know that it was going to be everybody focused on a topic and we all pray for it at the same time, live. That's powerful, very powerful. And that's what we're going to do. And then I want everybody to spread that one like crazy. I want as many, if we get 1,000,000 people praying all at one time, and I know God will do this. I'm not concerned about how many. If it's God, there's no limit. So I'm not really concerned. He's amazing, wonderful, loving, caring, taking care of me better than I could take care of myself. But anyways, you guys, I'm looking forward to that. Go back and research what I talked about here, about research that. Take from it what you will or leave it. But I really want to go on Rumble and really dig into this idea that I think God's leading me to, about him coming at the end time, okay? The end time, not the one where there's the rapture. That happened, I think. I'm not sure, but look into it, okay? Pray about it. Let's dig in. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And I'm game to be right along with you guys on this. Thank you, Renee. I love you guys. I gotta go. I gotta do some things. I got errands. I started off really early at 4 a.m. this morning, and I gotta get my hair up. You know, I don't like it down. My wife gets after me. I don't know why, but she doesn't like it down. I'm not used to it down, so it's kind of driving me crazy, even though I do like it long. But anyways, I could go on and on. I love you guys. I love hanging out with you. I will see you very, very soon, and I'll let you know when we're going to do the Rumble, okay? Be good, be kind, do something nice, and help the elderly, disabled, volunteer your time. Time is like the most precious thing on earth. Do that. Forgive, forget, be generous. I love you all. Love everyone. We'll see you real soon.